Jim Montgomery has sent a serious message to Morgan Geekie about his play, and if things do not get better, we may see Morgan Geekie not on the Boston Bruins. I'm going to be talking about everything that Jim Montgomery had to say here and what this means for the future of Morgan Geekie as a Boston Bruin here in this video. Before we get into it, however, we know 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. If you want to share on the channel, we're almost at 5K, and if we get hit that by the end of the month, that would be absolutely insane. But without any further ado, we need to get into this first topic here, and really the big one of the video in Morgan Geekie. Jim Montgomery has sent a serious message to him about his play and really what will happen to his future if he does not. Jim Montgomery was asked a question about what Morgan Geekie needs to do to have a more impactful role, I guess we could say, on this team and move back into the lineup on that second line right wing spot where he started the season. I'm going to pull up our first screenshot here looking at this, and this is what Jim Montgomery had to say after Monday's practice on October 28th. Today, Jim Montgomery was asked about Geekie and what he must do to replicate last season's form. In response, Jim Montgomery gave a brief yet big answer: play better. And we know Jim Montgomery, not the most direct guy. We know we don't normally see a few quotes from him like this. We don't normally see anything clear cut. We normally get a few hints at things, but a play better from Jim Montgomery is something that we don't normally hear. And the fact that it's coming from Jim Montgomery and the fact that he's actually saying full out, play better, that's what he needs to do. That's the one thing that we need to see Morgan Geekie do before we go anywhere else with him, I think is a big message sent to Morgan Geekie. He knows he's been playing absolute terrible this season. Jim Montgomery and the Boston Bruins know, and so do we watching these games. And that's why we really haven't seen him in any consistent position in this lineup. You have to give props to Jim Montgomery for really trying to figure out what to do with Morgan Geekie when he has not been performing well with really anybody on this roster right now, and that's all Jim Montgomery can do. Now it's on Morgan Geekie to really just step up and play better. We've given him every opportunity to kind of find that home, and he really hasn't been able to do that. So the fact that we're seeing this from Morgan Geekie or from Jim Montgomery about Morgan Geekie is really sending a serious message that if things do not change soon, he may be in a very tough situation on a Boston Bruins lineup that may be going on without him. And pulling up our next screenshot here, looking at his stats, as you can see, this year, only 1 point in 8 games. That is absolutely terrible for a guy last year with 17 goals, 22 assists. And I think that it's really a point where we need Morgan Geekie to be up to the level of what he was last season. The Bruins, we know, are not starting off too hot. A win last game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're looking for more. And the team is starting to slowly come back with less penalties and everything, but without Morgan Geekie, who was supposed to be our second-line right winger to start the season, that leaves a big hole that really was attempted to being filled by multiple players so far, and we still haven't found that one secure spot that we like to see. We've tried Cole Koepke, Matt Poitras, many other players that we're trying to fit on the second line, but ultimately couldn't. And it seems like we're keep on rotating back to Morgan Geekie. Now, with this last game's lines and what we're going to see, I'm sure we're going to see multiple changes once again until we actually find a spot for Morgan Geekie where he can and will work. But that's just a matter of time until. And even if he does, go in multiple different spots, try and play with different teammates, trying different lines, different positions, whatnot, it still may not work, and the Bruins have made a move that Riley Tufte got sent down to the AHL, creating cap space for none other than Tyler Johnson, a guy who could potentially replace Morgan Geekie if we do not see anything better. If we do not see Morgan Geekie kind of snap out of this down bit of the season, down beginning, it may be a bad situation for him, knowing that the Bruins are trying to go for it right now. And obviously a bit of a rebuild, but we're not trying to suck is the best way of putting that. And looking at this here as well, the lines that we've been working with, last game, we saw Morgan Geekie on that third line right wing, and we've seen him up where Justin Brazeau was. This one was pretty much a pure swap where Brazeau started on the third line right wing at the beginning of the season. We've seen Geekie at third line center. We've seen him at second line left wing. We've kind of seen him in every possible position that would not really mess anything up. The only spot we haven't seen him is on the fourth line, but the fourth line has been playing too good to make a change. So it's not like we can put him down there to get no ice time because our fourth line has been the best line in the NHL, the best line for the Bruins, and that is not being split up anytime soon. So looking at the fact that we do have Tyler Johnson still kind of in the back pocket, not yet signed, but really we're just waiting for it at this point. We know it's at some point going to come, hopefully sooner rather than later, because the Bruins need some more firepower to be able to get this going, as well as some more discipline. That is what they're really lacking on. But Morgan Geekie could certainly be an absolute one-for-one replacement for Tyler Johnson. And after placing Riley Tufte on waivers and sending him down to the American Hockey League, the Bruins now have a projected $1.1 million of cap space. This now gives them more room to sign Tyler Johnson to a deal if they wish to, and that's what's still being reported. I reported on that a couple days ago when Riley Tufte got sent down. Clear waivers, still reporting on it then, and now this comes from yesterday, and the fact that we're still talking about it, I think we're really pointing to Tyler Johnson at some point being a Boston Bruin. He wouldn't be sticking around then with this team, practicing with this team on the actual roster if he were not at some point expecting a contract. And I think it's really just a matter of time until we see a one-for-one or a specific spot that we can put Tyler Johnson in without kind of taking away any momentum from what any players have been doing. And Morgan Geekie is that candidate right now, the number one. And I think that Jim Montgomery has sent this message to really say, you know, your job is not 100% safe. Your job is not fully there, guaranteed. Even though you've scored 17 goals last season, your second-line right wing, or supposed to be at the beginning of the season, if you're not playing good, you're not staying on this team. And I like the fact that Jim Montgomery is being very direct with this, not giving him any kind of leeway or anything to kind of get back to his old self or whatnot. He's saying directly that if you don't play better, you will not be on this team. And that's what this Bruins team needs right now, is some direct messages to get better or get out. That's the bottom line, and that's exactly what I like that Jim Montgomery is doing and how we're pulling that out. So look at the final screenshot here as well from the Bruins Network. I wanted to pull this one up because this is really what we've been talking about. We're up to second line right wing, third line center. Boston really needs Morgan Geekie to contribute, as 0 goals, 1 assist, and 1 point in 8 games is not enough. Geekie, coming off a 17-goal season, was touted as the internal option for the second-line right wing, yet hasn't even looked like a top-9 option this year. He needs to be better. And this comes yesterday, even before what Jim Montgomery had to say. So this has been a very repeated topic. This has been one that we've been looking at. We reported on this before the beginning of the season, that is Morgan Geekie really going to be the guy that can stay at this second-line center, can fill the role of a player who certainly should be on this team or whatnot, whoever it may be. Is Morgan Geekie the guy that can play well in the second line right wing over many other players? And right now, I think it's safe to say no, that is not the case. We need someone better than Morgan Geekie if he does not get better quickly. And quickly is an understatement. We need him to be better the next time we see him on the ice. And I'm wondering if this Jim Montgomery quote that we've seen directly to Morgan Geekie when asked about Morgan Geekie will impact his game, if that will, and hopefully and realistically it should, knowing that Jim Montgomery is quite serious about this quote. So let me know what you think about Morgan Geekie. Is he going to stay on this lineup? Would you rather see Tyler Johnson? And if you want to see Morgan Geekie on this lineup, where are you going to put him? We've tried him at a few different spots. Let me know anywhere in this top 12 forwards. Where do you want to see him? Whether that be the first line or the fourth line, I want to know. We need to discuss this. And we will be keeping an eye on this and close tabs on this when Tyler Johnson hopefully gets signed, and we'll see who is getting out of here. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button. If you're still watching at this point in the video, make sure to hit the sub button. Obviously, you're looking for that Bruins news, and I got all of it here for you daily. So don't be afraid to hit the sub button if you haven't already. And if you have, I very much appreciate your support. It's been absolutely insane lately. But that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.